Hi, it's Nancy welcoming you to Garden Scroll. Today is May the 10th and I spent all day yesterday bringing house plants or non-hardy plants that I take inside and overwinter in the house from the house to the garden. So it's good to have that job done. I still haven't got my house cleaned up from where they were sitting in the floor and on the little places where I had them displayed, so that still needs to be done, but they're in the garden now and that feels good. This is one. This little hibiscus with the pendulous stamen is one of them. And I put it over here under the eave of the house this time. Last year it had too much sun and didn't do well, but as you can see it did come out of it. It's been looking good inside and I'm hoping that it will continue on. I know they often go into a bit of a transplant shock or just moving them from one area to another, getting used to being outside again. So that may happen. I also brought out my little peace lily that my sister gave to me for my birthday last year. And it's looking good. I hate to see it go into a transplant shock. Maybe it won't. We're supposed to have some really nice weather for the next week and I thought this is its best opportunity to come out and do well. So and I won't be moving them in and out. It's just too many, too much. And this is my little bougainvillea and I hope it will bloom and look beautiful at some point this season. I need to get some plant food on things so it'll give them a good chance. They were definitely ready for a drink of water yesterday. And I put my little ponytail plant over here in this corner. I think it will get less sun and more shade and hopefully do well there. We did finally get one good spring rain and I'm hoping we get some more before it's over for us and the old hot heat of summer comes on. And as you can tell, I put my little rubber plant right here that my daughter got for me, and then this little plant that my friend Alma gave me several years ago, and it's been doing well. I think it's happy to be back outside. This is one other little time-consuming job that I have not got finished, but I've got it started and I'm going to let them stay outside a little while today and go back in. And then probably Monday or sometime soon anyway, I'll try to get some of these in pots or in the ground, probably in pots. But life has been pretty much one time-consuming job after another since I began to clean the garden out in February and then get things fixed and then purchase and plant new little plants, little annuals for the garden, and also trying to take care of the inside plants and getting my little window cuttings going and ready to go back outside. And this is where I put that little cascading Artemisia. And I just love it. I hope it will do fine here and the snails don't devour it. Speaking of which, I see one right here. And of course, in with those piddly things to do that take lots of time, I planted seed. I planted lots of seed and I know there's places they're not coming up. I'll have to redo some of that seed planting. There's still places that I haven't even gotten done. I did put a few little of the blue spruce stone cat or sedum right here in this little pot, but I want to redo this pot and have flowers coming out all over it, where it's got these little pockets on the side, and see if I can get it to look good. I also noticed that I have several of these. This is the double Widow's Tears. It has so many names I can't even begin to tell you all of them. Widow's Tears is the one I remember because it was the one that was on the package that my mother planted when I was a little girl, and so I remember that one. It's also called Trinity Plant. I can't even think of all of them, but I want these in pots, not just in the ground. They are too aggressive for me. I spent, I don't even know how long, digging out some of this at one point, and I don't really want to go through that again, but they are a beautiful little bloom, so I do want to keep it if I can keep them in pots. But what I came out here to show you was also some more of the house plants that I brought out. There's several of them. These I had inside the house, and this is another of the bougainvillea that I'm hoping will bloom and be a great beauty that I'll get to come out and show to you at some point. And I don't think I've even shown you that these did go ahead and bloom. Pretty little lilies. These are the oriental lilies, and they should be opening up in several places now. I know I have some big fat buds that will soon open. This is one of the little plants that that's our neighbor. Our neighbor's kids, I should say, I guess, if you heard that. But this is one of the plants that I brought out. This is one of the little pots I still lack. There's several pots out here that I want to put impatiens in. These little impatiens did well. I'm so glad, because so many of them did not, or the snails got them. I brought out this pretty little candlestick plant, or some people call it the shrimp plant. And then, of course, I brought out all of my begonias, Rex begonias. And I think they're already loving it. That's great. Like I said, they were really wanting a drink. I usually water on Wednesdays my houseplants, and I didn't Wednesday, and so Thursday I brought them out and watered them. But by the time they got that drink, they thought, what is she doing to me? She didn't get me water, and now she's putting me out in the heat. But it didn't get terribly hot on them, and I watered them as soon as I could get them all out here where I could just take the water hose and give them a good drink. But I do have several houseplants. I don't know, sometimes I don't realize I have so many houseplants till I get them outside. And of course some of them look so scraggly, but some of them are looking pretty good, I have to say. And this little one for my pastor's wife, Marcia, I think I might have found the trick to this thing, because I've tried to grow them. This one made it all the way through winter inside, and I noticed that a lot of its outside or inside leaves died off, and I read to go ahead and just mist it each day. So that's what I did. I kept a little spray bottle there beside it and gave it a little squirt, and I'm sure you could miss a day or two, whatever you have to miss, but just kind of keep it misted as much as possible each day, and if you can do it each day or as soon as you can. But I think that made all the difference, so I'm hoping it'll live out here. I've never gotten one to take back outside and see if it'll make it, so we'll find that out possibly this year. My plants do better outside than they do inside. I'm just not a houseplant person. That's just all there is to it. But I can't resist these beautiful plants to put them outside, and then they don't they're not hardy, so they have to come inside. I can see this little dragon tree Dracaena is drooping down a bit, but I'm pretty sure he will pick up, or it will pick up and go again. And then my neighbor moved, and she left another Dracaena little tree, and I gave the big part of it away and kept just 2 little parts of it, and they did well. They built a root, and they just looked great inside, and I'm hoping they'll do just as great outside. And also my little polka dot begonia. I hope I can keep it looking good. And I will put something in this little blue pot at some point. I was just going to move it and put a bigger pot there, but then I had these 2 little ones inside, and so I just did a little grouping of 3, and I think it looks good already, and when I get a plant in there, it'll probably look even better. You can see this little lily right here. It's got buds on it. It won't be too long before this will bloom. This little plant is one that I got from my friend and mentor's funeral, Hattie Stifler, and she was a wonderful, wonderful lady. She meant so much to me, and I know that her family misses her terribly. But she did live to be 100, and she was a wonderful lady that did so much. Just worked all the time and did stuff for people all the time, and it seemed like it was her joy that, no matter how much we love things and people or plants, we still get that fatigue, and I'm sure that she did that too. Now she's at rest and peace and happiness and a joy that we'll never be able to understand until we get there ourselves. So, but I took this, I gave the main big one to my sister Christine and took just a tiny little piece of it, and it's grown to this size inside. So I'm hoping it will continue on to look great. Most of the peonies and some of the roses are all spent, and I need to come out and trim all that off. I actually got part of this done, and then I had to go to bringing in my house, or bringing out my house plants, and so I did not get it all done. So I'm going to try to do that at some point next week. Remember when this was just full of beautiful creamsicle orange or a bright orange, and then let me just go down there and get a close-up of the one that's still there so you can remember this beautiful color, so pretty. But time just moves on so quickly. This little Keys of Heaven is looking great, and I'm thinking about putting some of it over by the faucet. So because the ground is hard there, I can't seem to get anything to grow there. And this usually will grow sometimes when you don't even want it to. But I think that might be a good place for it to try to get a start. So most of these are just looking ratty, but you can tell there's still a few beautiful ones mixed right in there with them. Pretty much the same goes for the pretty roses. They're going away, but there's still some beauty left. is the clematis. This is the 4th of July rose. The baptisia blooms are all gone, but that pretty little bush looks great to me. These are practically all gone too. They just don't seem to last long enough. This little one may not make it, but I'm still hoping for it. And I did not have a peony support. I guess I was thinking maybe I did. Maybe, let me go over there and look. I don't know if I have a peony support on this little peony, but it's laid way down. If I do have, I probably need a taller one. Yes, I do have a peony support there, so I need to get a taller one that will hold it up better than this. This is after our rain, and these blooms are so beautiful. I don't know if they may be all spent now, and I can't find, no, there's one, I think. Just a second. Okay, I found one of those miserable little green cucumber beetles on there that I had to stop and take care of. But I did want to show you this. Oh, look, there's another one. I hate those things. I'm going to have to spray again. See if I can find him for you. He's trying to get away. And he will destroy this pretty bloom, even though it needs to be shown off so much more than the way I've got it there. But that will come with time as you find out what your little plants need and are able to afford to get all the things they need. This little plant's doing well. You can't really see it that much, but I think it will grow to make a pretty showing. And this is what I didn't want you to miss. I wanted to come out and get this beautiful clematis while it's full, in pretty full bloom. This is the one I was telling you that is so dark and so pretty. And I enjoy it so very much. But I'm going to a graduation this evening, and I don't know really when I'll get back in the garden again, but maybe tomorrow actually, but we'll see how that goes, because I've got to do some house cleaning and rearranging from where the plants were inside, and I'm literally so tired. Let me go up here and get this beautiful this little rose. Look at that color, so pretty. But for the most part, they're finishing up and going away. I'll need to trim this back so it can bloom again. But as I was saying, even though you love something so much, I am so tired. I am so very tired that this is going to be much prettier and much more fun when I get some rest from the garden for a little bit. It's just gets to be more than I can do. And yet it's so lovely, and I'm so proud of every little bloom that the Lord has given me and allowed me to take care of and to grow. And there's just something magical even about every little seed. I remember showing this to you when it had just begun to sprout in its little biodegradable pot. And then I put the pot out here, and now it's just got 2 little leaves coming out on it, and soon it will grow a few more, and then it will grow taller and taller. This is a castor bean, and it will grow up probably 5 to 7 foot before the season is over, and maybe even taller. I actually did get it in the ground sooner than I normally do and got it to come up. I plant them each year, and I only want one because they can be invasive, or aggressive. They can put down so many seed. I don't want that. It's a hard enough job to keep the garden, but it's really hard when you have one that wants to take over everything, kill everything else out, and take off and go. And my husband says, well, why don't you just let it go with that one? But it just wouldn't be the same. It wouldn't be a garden, and I'd hate to lose all the work and effort and money that I put into it. And it's just wonderful to enjoy when the weather is nice like today. Even though I'm not feeling it, it is a beautiful day. I just need some rest and a little bit away from it. Not all that much away from it, because my garden can be, I'm sure, I haven't got it there yet, but I'm pretty sure this could be just a place where you would relax the most if you just didn't have to work it all the time. But I don't want to not do the work and miss out on what that work brings, because you know those seeds will be coming up, different things will be happening. I want to get to see it all and enjoy it as much as I can, and I am doing better, because like this little container here, I tried to do zinnias in it last year, the little short profusion zinnias, which are beautiful, but I just decided we're going to go with sedum, something that if I should miss a day of watering and have to go somewhere, I can actually get to go, maybe. It just depends even then on how hot and what's going on in the garden. So, but this gives me a better chance. So with sedum or succulents in most of my pots now, I only have 2 places that actually need to be watered absolutely every day, and that would be under the willow tree where the most shade is, and where I just showed you where I put my house plants or non-hardy plants that I bring from inside, and then there in the front of the house where I put the rest of the non-hardy plants, where they can get a bit of shade, quite a bit of shade, and where they'll hopefully do well. Look at this pretty salvia. And I think I finally found where my lamb's ear likes to grow. I didn't show you this, but I did go ahead and trim this way down. I know I did do it severely, but I've been having trouble with it coming back in the spring with so much of it dead. So I'm hoping that this will help it to renew itself and it will grow quite a bit this summer. I'll have to see how much, but I think by next spring it'll be ready to go and fill back up almost, if not all the way to the top of this pole, and hopefully to fill out and be beautiful. And this is definitely another place where I need to trim off a bunch of these. I've read that you should always trim these off because they can keep it from really setting. It tries to put its energy into seeding. And if you even want to get another one, it's much better to just divide this one and take one that's already a fairly good size. And even then, when you transplant it, it probably won't bloom the following year, but it won't take it too long to get going again. They may go through the whole first year they sleep, and second year they creep, and third year they leap before they get to bloom, but they will. And it's certainly a lot sooner than from a seedling. So if you can just clip those off and let their energy go to the root and to building their bloom for next year, I think that's a better choice. I never did get around to redoing this little pot, and it looks so scraggly. But I think I will try to put some more soil in there and just at least build it up a little where these plants will have a better chance. And of course I'll want to take off these old dead stalks of the iris, because as beautiful as that bloom is, it's not so beautiful, just the old dead stalk. But if I get those off of there and you just see the pretty green sword-like foliage, that's pretty too. But I will want to do this early in the morning or late in the evening, so it's not so hot and I can just kind of enjoy being out here. Of course, the columbine is another thing that I want to trim off, and I'll try to do that when I do the rest of the peonies and roses and the iris. And I did take a few, as I told you, I'd got part of the garden cleaned out of these, but these will dry and break open and put down so many seeds, it's ridiculous. But it's beautiful. This little green foliage will be there all summer long, but I don't want that many of these, so I'm going to plan on clipping these off before they turn brown and drop. And I wanted to, this is a pretty little blue and choose it in the forget-me-not family, and I wanted to divide it and put some of it in another place, just basically in case one of them should not make it, or a mole or some rodent should take it out, that I will have another one. That's my plan. But you know, that one little rain didn't give us much to go on for having soft soil to work with, and if possible I prefer to wait until it is, where I can actually get the job done well. But I feel sure if I could just get rested a bit, I could enjoy this. I've just got to get de-stressed a bit. It's not really helping to have to go to graduations and other things, but I do not want to miss those things either. One other thing I want to do still that's going to be time consuming besides clean up is when it rains, I would love to take some of these clippings and put them in rooting powder and try to get them started just in front of the fence. And I tried that last year, but it got so hot they just didn't make it. This little pot is looking good with its little blue petunias in it. And then another job coming up will be to trim back some of the mums and the tall phlox so that they don't get so tall they just cover up everything or flop over when it gets wet, when they get wet. I put some of my ground cover phlox, creeping phlox, right here in the ground, and I'm hoping that it will come down over this railroad tie and just do really well. And look here, I'm seeing another snail, and I really think this is why they didn't do well in the first place. And I noticed this little strawberry pot is not doing well, but there's still a sprig of it. If that one sprig does well, and there's one in this one, I don't know if there's any in any of the rest of them, but if they would do well enough, I could take little clippings and poke them in those holes where it died out. I couldn't quite make up my mind if I wanted to put just sedums or succulents in this little pot or plants. So actually I've ended up putting some dianthus in here. You may not be able to see it there, but it's there. And I hope it will do well and come back in this pot. I have had them to come back in pots, so I'm hoping they will. And actually, neither of these should take a lot of water, so that'll be great. And I thought my little hot chocolate rose had totally gone away, and it's down there with that snow in summer. I need to clear it away from this little rose and give it a chance to triumph. And my little strawberry pot is still doing well, even though I lost so many impatiens in other places. I'm so grateful that this one is still here. And I think if I can find them, if they're available, I will still try some more in those other places. It seems like once they get going well enough, the snails don't bother them nearly as much, at least. And I like my idea of red in this little pot, but it needs some softening. I thought maybe that little alyssum would do it. And it does a tad little bit, but it just needs more. I'm going to see if I can find some trailing white vinca maybe to go in here. And this little pot, this held my pretty creamsicle rainbow effect petunia, and this was a beautiful like mauve kind of pink and purple bacopa, and they looked so good together when I put them there, and they promptly died. As soon as I put them there, they began to die. So I don't know, unless it was just I use a different plant food, and I don't know if that was it. We also had 3 nights where it got cold, not down to freezing, but very close. So I don't know what happened, but I would love to find those 2 again and try one more time. And I know these little purple heart look so ratty and awful, but they won't stay that way. I'll come out one day and show you how they came right out of this, and they'll be all purple and all beautiful with leaves and, their foliage all around. Now these other little pods, I'm pretty sure things died out. I try to keep them through the winter inside. These may be alive. This is, of course, the asparagus fern, and it may have life in there. Oh, I wish this one did. Right when I brought it out, it did have. I saw life in there in that stem, but I'm not sure now. But this is a passion vine. It's got like a tassel flower. It's so pretty. I would love for it to come back up from the root there and grow another one and bloom. Last year I missed its bloom, and this year it's not looking good. Not looking promising, but I'm not giving up yet. And this, of course, is my a plumeria, and my friend Dee Dee gave this to me, and it looks just like it did when I brought it out, but it will definitely change this look and be beautiful. She gave my friend Alma one of these too, and Alma's got so big she couldn't bring it inside. And I'm thinking it was so beautiful though, but I don't know what I would do if mine got that big, because I couldn't possibly get rid of it. I guess I would just trim it down and cut a little piece off and start over. But luckily I still have this one, and it's not quite so big, but they're beautiful. Please be sure to like and to subscribe to the channel.